KXP, where the music matters. Anyone who listens to the show knows I never shut up about the Sounders. I'm a big supporter of that great team. And I have Calen Carr up here. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
So you're in town. You're going to try to capture some of the Sounders magic here. And you played for the team we're going to be playing.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to mention that, actually.
Play for the Dynamo. Play for the Houston.
Yes, but I come in peace. Coming out here to do a profile on the Sounders, a little bit of a deep dive into the history of the club, but also a little bit of looking at the present, going for back-to-back MLS Cups, and also about what's the future of Seattle soccer. So we're doing a little on the field, off the field, deep dive into it, and starting off here at Husky Field. Played a bunch of games here with Berkeley, but now back to check out Seattle rivalry, the derby match, Seattle U and UW. And the Roldan family. He's going to have a complicated one today. Younger brother playing in this match, but it's going to be fun. Check it out. The cool part to me when I come here is that it's not just about the Sounders. It's college soccer, it's youth soccer. Everywhere you go, Sounders scarves. At the game last night, saw your brother playing against UW, crosstown rivalry. What was that like for you in the stands watching that?
That was tough, obviously. Family and my alma mater, but I had to stay neutral in my colors. And
what was it like? What was your first impressions of Seattle when you got here?
That was a different atmosphere, you know, coming from Los Angeles and experiencing fall and winter for the first time at age 18 was a little bizarre. But the people here are fantastic. You'll never meet a society so inclusive, so passionate about people doing good things. And I got neighbors.
You got neighbors? Are you like bringing by, like, you know, coffee and tea to each other?
No, I have little kids that play soccer that bring good luck notes and are super passionate about my game.
Wow. Was there a moment in college where you're like, this place is for me, or Seattle is for me, or you started to feel like this was becoming your home?
It was actually on my recruiting trip. Got off the plane, got picked up by Jamie Clark, and he actually toured me Starfire Sports. And this is where we're at.
Wow.
We took a little tour and he said, hey, hopefully we can get you, right? You're gonna have to commit. Hopefully we can get you in some of these practices. Secretly told my dad, hey, I want to come here and let's make this happen. And 3 years later, you know, I ended up getting drafted by Seattle. Schmetzer gave me a chance. That's all I can ask for. And he believed in me from day one. In terms of accolades, as a 22-year-old, you don't think that you'd be getting called into the national team and winning MLS Cup. You know, not a lot of players get to experience those things. And definitely one of the more fortunate ones. You know, I joke around about like how I played academy here and playing with Henry Wingo and Jordan Morris, and they still give me a ton of crap. Definitely feel like a local. I've been embraced like a local for sure. I mean, I went to the University of Washington, so that basically makes me, you know, from Seattle, from Washington, right?
Christian Roldan isn't from here, and he's got, like, everybody thinks he grew up here.
Do you give him the Seattle freeze? And what is that exactly? Because that's a Seattle thing, right?
We're really nice here in Seattle, but sometimes, you know, you gotta just step away from people. And the Seattle freeze is exactly that. Like, you want to have a nice conversation with me, but I don't really want to. It's, all right, I'll see you later. You have a good day, you know? And then it's kind of a little bit of a cold shoulder, but it's in a nicer way, you know?
So you got to hit Christian with the freeze every once in a while when he gets too comfy.
Yeah, when he gets too comfy, for sure. Hit him with the freeze.
Federal Way. What was it like for you growing up here? What are your early memories with soccer?
Just that it was the most popular sport, you know, kind of where I grew up. In a lot of different areas, it probably would have been basketball or football, but in the pocket of Federal Way that I grew up in, all the kids played soccer, and that's how I got started in elementary school. Nobody played basketball or football. Everybody was on the soccer field. We ended up going to the Sea Dogs. We had one of the players lived really close to us, and we ended up training with him in his backyard, and so that's how we got to know the local teams. It kind of draws you in a little bit more. You get a little bit closer to the game, you get a little bit closer to the club, and so that's how I ended up getting my start. I was a ball boy for the Sounders when I was little, getting signatures from the guys, and I still have friends who have the shirts with all the signatures on it, and chasing around the mascot and stuff like that.
Wait, what was this old Sounders mascot?
I think it was a whale or orca, something like that. I remember chasing it around.
I've never
poking him.
seen this mascot he's not around these days.
Yeah, no, I'm not getting in this suit, but yeah, it'll be good.
This is your 4th stint now with
Yeah.
the Sounders.
I got a very large family. My wife is from the same area. My wife is from Federal Way as well, so it just makes it easy. This last time back, it was pretty cool. There was a kid who came up to me. He was like, "Man, you were the first Sounder I ever met. I remember you came to a birthday party and we just got to play with you on the field." And he was like, and he kind of paused and he was like, "Man, I'll never forget that." I was like, "Dang, it's pretty crazy to think that you kind of affected somebody in that way when it comes to participation levels and passion for a sport." I mean, I can't really think of another place. Some places get hot when they first get a team, but to have the stability of the fan base and the passion in this city is something that hasn't been hit yet.
Would this be the crowning achievement for you to bring a title back to your hometown?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're in the MLS Cup is kind of everything. If you don't win one of those, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad, obviously. If you, sorry, you know what I mean.
That's all right.
No. It happens to a lot of people. Right. Let's start over. Let's do that again. Went somewhere and didn't want it to go.
I'm living through you now. Yeah.
Honestly, for me to be at this club so many times and not win one, it hurts, You leave and then they win one, you're back. I'm like, let's do it again. Let's get another one.
Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Never disappoint. Love it. Good to see you, man. This is next level. Can I try on the helmet?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know I like a good helmet, man.
Please,
You know?
I do know you like a good helmet.
Ah, that feels good. This is like what happened if I got traded to Seattle. I would have to upgrade.
They got flannel in Portland, we got spacesuits in Seattle.
What about the TIFO, the huge TIFO you fly up?
Portland was in town and knew there was going to be a TIFO, but the people that were up, you had Casey, you had Marcus, you had Schmetz, you had Jimmy Gabriel, sort of my goofy smiling face. It was a great moment for me. I think also huge in sort of cementing my infamy with the Portland fans.
This is one of the supporter pubs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, main Emerald City supporter pub. So any away game, this place is packed. There's actually a good video on YouTube when Sounders won the Cup. I mean, literally pouring out into the streets, windows breaking, just like chaos.
But you've done a bunch of work with the club since finishing playing. It seems like they do a pretty good job trying to keep guys around.
It's soccer, easy to fall in love with this place right away. In those USL days, my first summer was 2003, and we had such a tight-knit group. 2007 was really interesting because we were USL, we won the championship. Even at the end of the 2007 season, we weren't sure if we were going to play in 2008. Fortunately, had a team in 2008. They positioned it as come back, and it'll give you a better chance to play with MLS in 2009. At that same time, Sonics had just left in 2008, so people were, put off about that. The Seahawks, the Mariners, actually no one was very good. And I think the city, sports fans were just thirsting for something different, something new. And then you had the undercurrent of that support, in the 70s. The name right off the bat, it wasn't even supposed to be Sounders. But write-in option for Sounders in the city. All the fans who had been fans since the NASL days, spoke there. There were 3 options and then a write-in option, and overwhelmingly, people wanted the Sounders to stick around. The Sounders actually did a really brilliant thing the first match. So season ticket holders, your season ticket was actually sewn into your scarf. And so each year season ticket members would get their scarf. But that first year, everyone needed to bring their scarf to the stadium. And so that started the tradition of Scarves Up Seattle. The first season was really interesting because you had the expansion draft. And so you had guys, 10, 11, 12 guys from all over the league who had been picked up, Freddie Monteros, the Casey Kellers, and then you had this ragtag bunch of USL guys. I don't know, this really weird dynamic. That being said, even though it was a gray area, I mean, you think about Adrian, you think about Brian, those guys doing just a great job of, keeping the group together, keeping the same spirit within the team that we had in the USL days.
Your history is quite extensive. You've been with the Sounders longer than I've been alive. So that is true. At a certain point in Seattle, if you wanted any sort of soccer gear, jersey, that the Schmetzer Sporthaus was the place to go.
It's ending up being a sad story, but it was a good story for many, many years. It was able to provide the American dream. My dad was at the top amateur level over in Germany. I was a machinist by trade. He wanted to be involved in soccer, and he was an entrepreneur. So they started this business, and this business lasted for since 1975.
Our league is still young, but this club has a different history that predates most in the current top flight.
In '74, my family, we would go and watch the games down at Memorial Stadium. I remember going to those games on Sunday afternoons in Seattle. It was a big crowd, and the sun would come around, and there was people outdoors, and there was this new sport. So that was the kind of first taste I had about it. Probably the best memory, though, one of my friends had a birthday party, and I don't know how this happened, but one of my parents got some Sounders to come to our birthday party. We're playing against the guys that we'd watch on a Saturday afternoon, and that was so cool. And that was some of the small details that generation of Sounders in the 70s. I think a lot of that work it's the result of what they did. I mean, we get 45,000 people in the stadium. I can bet you there's thousands that say, I remember I was at the games in Memorial Stadium. We've had 40 plus years of growth where other markets have only had, 20.
Atlanta United has come into the league in a big way.
Some of our business office guys are a little upset about that, okay. So they're going to work hard this next year to, make sure it doesn't stay like that.
Well, what is the next step for this club as far as its growth?
The business people have a 10-year plan that was going to coincide with 26 and hopefully the World Cup being here. And it was to enrich lives through soccer, to create moments, and really be a community asset, providing opportunities for young soccer players to be their best. Moments like, winning their first MLS Cup, being at that first game in '09. Moments where people really have those touch points that last with you through a lifetime. Just make sure we do right by the fans that have supported us since '74.
I remember sitting in Colorado last year. Afterwards at the podium in the press conference, you got a little bit emotional talking about the fans.
I'm very proud of this franchise. The fans deserve that. They deserve it.
You've been on these teams, you think of the team, the locker room, this family. Why did they come to mind?
Well, it's because of the birthday party story. I think the relationship between the fans and the players of this club is special. They're part of it. They're part of what we do. Why wouldn't we be appreciative of what they do and what they bring every game?
When you see a city like Seattle and the support of the Sounders, is that, you think, the future of fan bases in this country? Do you think it's an anomaly? Do you think, what is your thought?
To me, this is the model for soccer in this country. I mean, everyone always compares the United States to England, and not favorably for the most part. It's always, oh, Europe's better, England's better, there's more history. But Seattle's the one place that you can point to and say, hey, we may not have 100 years, but you look back 40, 50, 60 years, there's a lot of people still here who helped grow the sport in the area. And then you have this whole new class of players. You get a little bit of everything, but it does feel different. It's entrenched in the culture, it's entrenched in the history here. It should be to a place where you can't be a Seattle sports fan and not be a Sounders fan. And I feel like that's the way it is now.